round of applause for Snow Wife in the building, please. Yes.
Boom, 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 boom,
La la.
boom, boom.
You know what I'm saying? Before we get into pool, before we get into what is turning out to be a summer anthem,
Yes.
I need to know how a dancer turned songwriter has found her heart fulfillment. How about we start there? How's it feel to be to find your path right now and moving in the direction that this journey is taking you?
Well, I never expected to be an artist, which is really interesting. So my whole life I was planning on being a professional dancer.
Straight up.
I went to Pace.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Shout out to Pace.
Yeah,
right
shout
around
out
the
to
corner
Pace.
here,
I
yeah.
went to Pace for commercial dance for a year.
Dope.
And then I moved to LA to pursue commercial dance.
Yeah.
And then I started songwriting in LA. And then I think as soon as I discovered songwriting, and obviously I had an idea of like musicality and like
100%.
music direction from dance, and I
Yeah.
think that dancers have such an interesting understanding of music, and like my songwriting is a personification of my
Of your
movement.
Yo,
So,
to hear you say that gives me. I'm just gonna go ahead and just start off and say it's giving me fucking goosebumps. If you had any worries, if we could use curse words, that is such
Thank
a poignant and such an
you.
amazing, like thing to be able to tap into.
Thank
So,
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, so it's like it's just kind of, I think songwriting connected a lot of dots for me. I think that like for me, dancing and performance and songwriting and spirituality and communication and politicism, like they all go hand in hand for me, and they always have, but songwriting was, I think, just kind of the last component of the puzzle as far as like my artistic roundness, I guess.
And that's where you are now.
And that's where I am now, is like very like and then obviously now I'm navigating the music industry, which is an industry that I never thought I would have to navigate, but I'm proving to myself that I'm like been pretty, like, it's hard, but like I feel like I'm pretty equipped, and like my decision making is like
For sure.
been pretty,
It's spot on, and you're following your heart. You're doing the things that feel right to you.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you found that, because a lot of people, they get lost in it.
Yeah.
But then once you finally find who you are and you're moving in that direction, it becomes easier. Not that it's easy for you, but it's navigatable.
Yeah, I'm definitely like very body instinctual. I think obviously because I come from dance, and so everything that I move through in music, very much so, like even if somebody tells me something is a good idea, if I physically do not feel that in my body, I just physically can't align with it. You know what I mean?
I do 100%, because what it feels to me like, you have the physical adaptation and connection to your music, like a lot of other songwriters have that. I'm thinking of the Billie Eilish's of the world, the Charlies. You see the sounds and colors, and you navigate that way. You see the sounds in movement and fluidity, and your soul is this. You were meant to be here.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that that's like, I think that the spirituality of like destiny for me has been super apparent in my music journey. And I think just how quickly I progressed as an artist showed me that fate kind of component of it.
Snow White,
But-
listen, holy crap, I'm loving how,
Yeah.
like, here we are only like 3 minutes into this conversation, and we are already there.
We're like in
Yeah,
it. We're like, so what does destiny mean to you?
But no, it's so amazing that you're able to connect there at this stage of your musical or your artist career, because I mean that just sets you up for further success, that we're gonna be reliving this conversation years from now saying like, damn, remember, I knew it, I felt like I was doing my thing. Because I mean we kind of established that you were pulled from the dancer world into the singer-songwriter world. How proud are you of yourself that you were able to find this chapter in the book and be there and create from this space, you know, and maybe not so much disappointed that you didn't get to follow your dance, but you still are doing loads of dance.
And like dance followed me through this process, and I think like, I guess as far as my proudness of myself, it's really interesting because I think that, again, like the artist position is very interesting to me, and like I think that you don't necessarily see your steps until you kind of take yourself out of it. So that's what I'm trying to have more of those moments, honestly. Like, it's just like, obviously, like when you're living in LA and like you're like trying to move and like it's such a you are constantly fighting for your life,
it's
girl,
a hustle
every single day. And so I think I'm trying to do that more, of kind of like taking at least a few days out of a week or out of a month to like seriously remove myself and be like, okay, where am I? Where was I? Where am I going? And like, why is all of that enjoyable for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, to connect there, to know that you're present. I think that's what it is. To be present in the time, in the space, in the moment that you are. Whether it is you're present in that hustle and that grind to create, but also when you're stepping away from it, to know, what those emotions feel like when you're just kicking back and chilling. And you know what I mean? Like, you got
because the artist experience is like, it's emotional. Like, it's emotional in all directions. Like, it's emotional on a high, like, positive level. It's emotional on a negative level. It's emotional, like, every day is super emotional and you're being pulled in so many directions. So I think that, like, for me right now, I do have really big goals. So I'm trying to, like, make sure that I have the tools as a person right now to maintain somewhat of a homeostasis, if you'll
to be there,
entertain that.
No, 100%. When you talk about some of those goals, what are some of those goals that you're setting for yourself?
I mean, like, obviously my goals are to be like a commercially large, like, pop, like you're a performance act. Like, that's like, my goal is to be a legacy act for sure. And like, obviously, like I take it really seriously, and I do think that like I have the knowledge and like the perspective to get there. I think it's just a matter of like getting there.
It's not if, it's when. You know what I mean? Because you're already moving in that direction. Now, when you're creating music, where do you go? Not only in your heart, but in your energy. But where else are you at the house? Are there notes in the phone that are going crazy? Like, where is it that
I'm a melody person? I'm also a lyricism person, but like very much so melody. I think because dance comes first to me, melody comes first. So that's kind of where I'll start. Is like, I'm very, 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 I'm not as particular about lyrics. They just have to feel cool to me, basically, unless I'm like writing about something societally that I think is important. Like, and usually all of my themes and rhetoric have to do with that anyways, just as a person and as an artist. So it just like naturally reflects through the lyricism. But definitely I'm very like stickler on like melody choices.
Synths, you know what I mean? The sounds have to be there. The movement that you feel is coming through these lyrics and these sounds. What you want to portray.
The music definitely needs to be, before the lyrics even touch the page, the melody and the feeling and the music has to be there first. And if it's not there, then I can't write the lyrics.
Yo, for you to not get that twisted, it's a true testament to you knowing who you are. And a word that comes up a lot when people get to know who Snow Wife is unapologetic. That's a bold statement, to know that this is how you feel about a certain thing. This is who you are. How important is it for an artist, maybe not just you, but to anyone listening or watching this and thinking, I want to also create myself, but how important is it for that person, and you as well, again, to be unapologetic in who they are, and so honest and vulnerable even at times?
I mean, I think that, I guess I didn't really necessarily realize how forward I was until I started making music. And then I started hearing that a lot. It's like, oh, like your lyricism is so out there and like unapologetic and at times a little bit shocking. And I didn't even necessarily register that as I started creating music. I think that I've also just like, I've always been a very opinionated person.
Okay.
And not opinionated to the point where my opinions don't change, because I'm also somebody that like constantly is changing and growing. But like in the things that I am passionate about, I would say that like my moral standpoints are pretty strong. And like the way that I want to see the world progress has always Around the same ballpark, like been the same for me since I was like 14 or
Dope.
15.
Dope.
I've always been a really political person. I've always been, I've always been a queer person.
Yeah.
Like I've always leaned into that. I've always been a spiritual person. So I think that like my unapologeticness as far as like my how people perceive me as well as like my lyricism is more of a reflection of just who I am as a person, I guess.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
No, all the things that you just said right there are super important because I've been able to be blessed to be in this position to talk to a lot of artists who are finding out that true vulnerability, that dedication to oneself, that being unapologetic in who they are is really what's connecting with people, because that's all that we're looking for as humans, is someone who is aside us or in front of us or whatever, who is just being themselves.
Yeah.
We don't want fake. You know what I mean? Like, that's not cool.
I think that's like what's always been most inspiring to me within like artists that I admire is like people who are brave.
Yes.
And
talk
like,
about some of those people that embody the word brave for you. Who are some of those artists?
I mean, Lady Gaga is obviously my favorite artist of all time.
Yeah.
Very obviously. I think someone else, even on like a legacy scale, like someone like Brooke Candy.
Damn.
She's very brave.
Yeah.
Like Slater, Charlie, Madonna is very brave. Like there's so many. Beyonce is very brave.
I mean, and let's just talk about, for those who do know, I mean, Texas, Sugarland, Texas, you know what I mean? To be who you are, you know what I mean? And to have that energy and that spirit that you possess, and no disrespect to anybody that's in some of those places that aren't as progressive, but you have to be very brave to live yourself, to live your truest self.
Yeah.
And you are doing that, damn it.
Yeah, and like you're definitely, I mean, Sugarland's like just right outside of Houston, so I still had the like...
Yeah, still had Houston.
I still had the progressiveness of
Yeah,
Houston, but obviously I was in Sugarland, so it was definitely, I was able to see the other side of the coin for sure.
Yes, that's
like,
all right, now let us talk about Pool, damn it.
Yeah.
Because we're getting wet with this, besides Wet Dream and American Horse. Let's talk Pool, because this record here is so damn fun, and it drives, it moves. What was it like to first hear that melody, that sound come together and know, like, yep, this is going to be something I'm just going to dive headfirst into, pun intended.
I think like Pool was really interesting because it's the only song I've ever put out so far that I had like, I just like very much so like impulsively was like, oh yep, let's like put this out in 2 weeks. Like we made it. We literally made it because I made it with like one of my best friends. It was literally just like me, him, and then we were.
Who's this? Not just best friend.
Slush Puppy. So he's like my like main collaborator. Like he produces all my stuff, and then. We were on FaceTime with my other super close friend, J Bach, who like writes a lot of songs with me. So we're on FaceTime with J Bach, and then we're like in the studio, and like, I mean, it's obviously the production itself is like completely just like outrageous. I am at Lollapalooza right now. I am completely off my ass. Like there is nothing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what time it is. Like,
but I'm here in the moment. I'm living it.
I'm living in the moment. Like what the fuck is going on? And that I think that the song generates that feeling so much. So like right when we made it, I was like, we should just, because I was like, I had another song I think in mind for like what my next single would be for the summer, and I was like, nope, this is it. And then we just like sent it to mix and like honestly just put it out, like, to be honest.
Were you scared in that moment? Were you thinking like, damn, or you were just trusting the process that that's what this song felt like for you? It just felt right for it.
Yeah, I think that all of my songs that I end up like letting exist on my Spotify, like I just feel that it's just, regardless of the way that it does, like I'm happy it exists, you know what I mean? Like that's how I feel with like, that's how I try to go about like all of my releases, is like regardless of the way this performs, like whether it gets 100,000 streams or 60 million streams, like do I feel like it belongs like on in the history of me, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, yeah, like I want people to like for like pool to be a representation of snow. Yeah.
Now, as you see the world, I mean, obviously, social media is it's a big part of our world and our lives now. As you see so many people replicate dances, create their own, use the sound. What is your relationship? Is it a love-hate relationship? Is it a fond relationship with social media?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
This is like a very personal testimony. I don't mind social media too much yet. That may change, obviously, as I become bigger on social media. So I can't really speak as to like what I might encounter in the future. But as far as right now, like I feel like I do like a pretty okay job at like mainly using it for work. And then like I really do try as much as I can to kind of like not feed into comparative culture, because that's like good. As a young woman growing up, you're going to feed into comparative culture either way, like whether you see it on social media or whether people are talking about it in real life, you're going to be confronted with it. So like as far as me and social media, I try to not unhealthily feed into like a comparative culture, especially amongst women, like too much when I'm like viewing things on social media.
That's amazing. Good on you.
That could change, obviously. And like because like I know people go through a lot, and like I might go through a lot, like I probably will at some point. So but as far as so far so good.
We're gonna keep
I'm not gonna say I'm completely unaffected by the internet, because obviously I think that everybody my age is affected by the internet, but I would say that I'm pretty mindful of my usage.
That's dope. That's dope. It's got to be also just fun to see that your music, through the use of these platforms, is connecting globally. I wrote down in big letters here, global. Like, how nuts is it to realize that there are people that are diving in, that are with you, that are in countries that you maybe haven't even thought of or know how to speak English as their first language.
Yeah, I think it's been like cool, because I think that everybody so far that's reacted to the music, I feel like we're like friends, like we would be friends in real life, you know what I mean? Like the type of people that Snow Wife is attracting are people that I would probably just vibe with in real life. Which is something that I'm excited about. I'm excited that that's the type of fan base that I'm building.
Sick.
Like I'm building a fan base of people that think like me. And I think that any sort of community is like built off of people that are like-minded.
And again, it goes back to what we said just a bit ago in this conversation. It's you being true to who you are that is building this solid community.
Yeah.
Building this tribe. And before we get you out of here, I want to talk about that initial tribe, those friends of yours who were there with you thick as thieves when you decided to take your butt from here to Cali. And
my dance friends.
Yeah, like what does it mean to you to have those people that are there for you, to pick you up when you're down, but also to put you in your place when you think that you are, you know what I'm saying, doing well, and you're maybe not. What does it mean to have that core group, those people that mean the most to you?
I mean, I genuinely think that my relationship with my roommates, who are my core 3 dancers, I genuinely think that my relationship with them is going to be the reason that I stay grounded for the rest of my career. That's sure.
That's special.
Like, it's been like that single-handedly has probably been like the most rewarding like thing about this whole process, is like the amount of like camaraderie and like community that it's brought between the 4 of us. Like,
so I'm gonna ask you real quick a name and a word that best describes that person. So all right, what's one of the besties' names?
Lola.
Okay, so Lola, what makes Lola special to you?
Lola is very similar to me in a lot of ways, but the way that we're different is she's a little bit more compassionate than I am.
All right. Who's next in the
Tiago.
All right, so come on now. What is it about T?
Tiago, literally, you could be crying, sobbing, everything in the world is going wrong, like you feel like everything is going to shit and you're dying, and Tiago will you'll literally be sobbing and he'll like show his phone to you and be like, "Do you like this post I just posted?" And I'm like, "Tiago, girl, like we ain't even talking about that." And he's like, "But look at what Kim just posted. Doesn't she look good?" And I'm like, "Yes, Tiago."
Yes, all right.
You know, those type of friends that no matter what, they're just gonna make you laugh.
Yes, you need that energy.
And then Pookie Miles.
Yes.
He is incredibly culturally just intelligent.
Love that.
Like he is definitely such a sounding board. I mean, all three of them, honestly, are such sounding boards for me on, just keeping that ethicality, keeping the culture and the ethicality of what we're doing, like always in line with like the agendas that we want to be pushing. And like they're all just extremely educated about pop music, and they're all very extremely educated about pop culture. And like I think that as an artist that's surrounded by like a big team and this and that, it's really important to have people maybe on a little bit of the outside of that are like also consumers that are like my age, you know what I mean? And like, and be like, and I'll show them something that may not be it. And they're like, "I don't know, girl. Like, let's think about how this is going to go over with this community or this community or that community. Because I don't know, girl." And you need that. Like, you know,
need to have those people.
Yeah.
Lastly, who gets pushed in the pool first of those three?
Tiago. Tiago loves to swim. He loves to swim and get his head underwater.
I feel like there's a lot that's going into that answer there that only you and Tiago know about. But
Tiago's a Miami boy.
I love that. No, the energy that I'm receiving from you, getting that this is our first time sitting down. It's like damn, I want to be a part of this friend group. I want to make sure that I am there riding with you. That's why, I mean, it was a first listen to this record that I was like, this gets my Maxwell approved stamp like real quick. Aww. I'm letting the world know and doing my part to say,
thank you.
This is the kind of energy that that needs to be, gosh, man, this needs to be heard, felt, tasted, touched. All those things that you are so truly special. And it's cool as hell to know that what I heard through the speakers matches what I get to see here in real
thank
life.
you. That
so
means
when this collaboration happens with maybe Gaga one day or Britney one day, who is a dream collab, by the way? Let's go ahead and throw that out there real quick. Who is a dream collab?
I really want to collab with Doechii, obviously.
Yo, let's go.
I think that she's really sick. Yes. And then obviously like if Lady Gaga even like spoke to me ever, like I'd probably like sob for the rest of my life. So
well, I'll tell you, these letters and these numbers that you see on these TVs in studio, you are a part of the family, just like she is a part of the Z100 family. So it near might happen.
I don't know, like I actually generally don't know. If I like think about her for more than like 10 minutes, I will start crying. Like, all right, I don't know how I'm gonna react.
I don't want to bring the tears out because it's too damn hot for any type of, sobbery here with this humidity we have here in New York City right now. But Snow, I gotta say, love, this is like, is really truly something special that was meant to happen that I didn't know was meant to happen. And to have this kind of vibe be what we got here in the studio. You got a friend for life, damn it.
Yes, we're locked in.
We're locked in. One time for Snow Wife here in the C100 studios, fam.
Boom, boom, boom.
From the top of the Empire State Building.
C100.